Well, the Falcons are eliminated from the Austin Major, and if you are really curious at what you're looking at on screen, what you're looking at is the first map today that they played versus MIBR in their best of 3, and you might wonder, how could they go from winning this map so confidently 13-6 to somehow managing to be eliminated but a few short hours later? Well, I'm going to walk you through that today, and we're going to start by covering the disaster that happened on Nuke, and then we'll get to the overtime thriller that was Inferno, and we'll get to that right after a quick word from SkinsMonkey. But let me tell you, there's a lot. Today's video is sponsored by SkinsMonkey. Now, if you're not familiar with SkinsMonkey, this is a trade site that allows you to take some of the old and crusty skins out of your inventory, and you can actually trade them in for something a little bit new, a little bit shinier than what you have right now. And it's really easy to do this, actually. All you need to do is log in through Steam, pick the skins that you don't want to use anymore, grab the ones that you do, and then click trade. All trades will pretty much happen immediately, and any balance that you don't use in your trade actually stays on the site for you to use for any future trades that you decide to do. And right now, if you use the link in the description, you can actually get a 35% deposit bonus, and that's good for up to $100. So let's say you deposit $100, you would actually get $135 on the site if you use my link. So make sure you check out SkinsMonkey, and let's hop right back into the video. Now, it's no secret that the Falcons played quite poorly at this event entirely, but it wasn't helped by the fact that they weren't able to win almost a single pistol, and this will be a recurring theme throughout this review, so just keep that in mind. They were losing almost every pistol. They could win the force buy afterwards, but most of the time starting down 1-0 at the beginning of every half. Now, I'm just going to tell you right now that this is going to be a longer review, so make sure you guys sit back and relax, because I'm going to guide you through this absolute disaster class from Falcons. Now, I also just want to say quickly before we get too far into the video, thank you guys for the support on the most recent Falcons video. I know a lot of you guys really enjoyed that, which is the reason why I'm trying to get this one up as fast as possible. And if you guys wouldn't mind just by showing your support by hitting the subscribe button and hitting the like button, it really does mean a lot to me. And also let me know who you want me to break down next. Now, with that being said, shameless promo out of the way, the Falcons are going to decide to take a full eco after losing the pistol, and what they go into is what I can only assume is a set A hit. Now, we have Nico in towards secret, and to set him up, he did get a set of outside smokes. Now, in return, Nico is going to clear outside, very similar to how Rain does on FaZe. In the meantime, we have Tessus, who is kind of overwatching him. Very common theme on Nuke to just have somebody looking from the silo or top of mini or main if you're from EU, so that somebody can go investigate secret, put a little bit of pressure, play with the rotates, and sometimes Tessus would even find somebody who's trying to flank secret, maybe from garage or maybe from walking mini late. But overall, the idea here is it's a set play to end A. And later on, once Nico is, comfortable, he'll come back and he'll flash Tessus into mini. Now, this is the part where things actually go wrong. They haven't done enough to pull rotates towards lower. For example, look at Lukowski. He knows that nobody's secret. He wasn't even pushed off in the slightest. Nico never actually pushed him off. I know he's by himself, but these are things that you would normally see to pull the rotate, because now Breno, which is what they were calling him on the cast, he's allowed to sit here and they can actually just play 3 in towards A. And since this is a gun round where they don't have all of the utility that they would normally like to have, this is going to be a pretty weak A hit. Now, Tessus is going to get flashed in through mini, just like I said, by Nico, dropping in here, and this is where the hit comes in. And I'm going to stop us right here because I want to walk you through what's supposed to happen. As you can see where everybody is, Magisk is supposed to scale out Tetris, hopefully dragging some crosshairs either from top HUD or Tetris, so that way Tessus can come in and hit the trade, right? And in the meantime, m0NESY can look heaven and make sure nobody swings out, and Kixen can come in through HUD to make sure that nobody from top HUD drops in, or anyone from backside doesn't feel comfortable. This will be a timing peak. He'll peak at the time where it makes sense. And in the meantime, Nico is going to well, I don't know, because Nico actually ends up deciding to come back towards secret. He gets found out by Lukowski, and now here comes the rest of the hit. Like I told you what should happen, Magisk is coming out Tetris, and he's kind of a little bit stuck. He gets killed by the guy in towards Mustang. Now Tessus does get the kill onto Heaven, but I'm really curious here on why we're taking our time. We're trying not to scale. It seems like there's just a lot of pressure. Kixen actually will alleviate some of it just by getting the kill onto the guy that dropped from HUD, and now there's a guy backside. Again, you see, they're very stiff. It doesn't seem like they're actually finishing their plan, but it doesn't really matter because the star power for Falcons should be strong enough, right? m0NESY in a 1v1 should never be losing this, but again, MIBR is a team that is full confidence, and they'll just peek you regardless of who you are. Like they don't care, right? So after Falcons win a somewhat convincing round, we don't see MIBR get scared at all. Exactly what I said in the Lin Vision review. Normally, whenever the underdog team starts to lose, they kind of pull back a little bit, and you can see them get nervous and they stop going for plays. But MIBR is going to speed up, and Safi is going to come in here, or Safe, I don't know. I say both depending on how I'm feeling. He's going to walk in towards HUD. Now, this is something that a lot of operas are going to do, and especially the aggressive ones. Now, what I'm really curious about here is the fact that they're still just trying to take the fight. Maybe they don't expect him to have an op. I give them that credit, but they're going to go into a pretty sad ramp hit after this, and Breno is just going to clean them up. So this is not a very convincing start for Falcons, but remember, they're up a map. They have plenty of time to reset mentally. Surely they will, right? Now, I really wish that I could say the Falcons could battle back, but they just make these rounds so hard for themselves, and it's the way they lose is so tragic. Here's an opening that m0NESY is going to get onto safe. Everything is going well. Now, watch this from MIBR. They're going to actually boost up in towards heaven. Remember, when we talked about this, you guys can even anti-strat Falcons nuke at this point if you've been watching along. Magisk is going to be the solo lurker in towards lobby. Now, he is going to be in towards hut, which there is nothing wrong with. This is a completely fine spot. Rob's plays here, but look at what happens. They boosted up heaven, and now Lukowski is going to spot Magisk's feet, and he's going to give the man advantage back. Really, it's no big deal. They end up going for a 4v4 A hit. This is all pretty standard. They're going to drop here. They get the kill. Tessa sees the opening, and he's just going to drop in towards the vent. Again, pretty standard. They caught MIBR off. There's no rotate. They should just be winning the round. But the problem here is that they have a small oversight by forgetting that Breno could rotate down the vent. And in this 1v3, remember, a 1v3, they should not be losing. Kixon has a really bad whiff, and now Breno can just stick the bomb. But he doesn't, because he's a little bit nervous. He's playing against m0NESY. m0NESY makes a sound cue, doesn't actually peek. He knows he's playing with them. Remember, this is m0NESY, a player that people could potentially argue is the best player in the world right now, but he never peeks. He never peeks, and Breno sticks the bomb. This 1v3, they should have won the round. This 1v3 is unlosable. Kixon had a chance to close it out. The first kill is fine, but m0NESY had all the time in the world, and not only does he lose the round, he also loses the op after. And it's really just Falcons mentally making every round hurt 10 times more than it needs to. So naturally, the Falcons still feel like they're in control of this game, but they feel it's slipping. So Nico is going to make a play here. This is, again, a very confident play. I love it. He's going to run through this molly. It doesn't hit him for too much. He sees the outside smokes, and he's very confidently taking the fight on what could be a heaven opper. Now, when he doesn't see anyone, he's actually going to sneak in through the garage smokes, and now he has a really good timing. But not only is it a really good timing, it's an amazing timing, because look at where everybody is. They've completely left it open. The guy in towards heaven doesn't see him at all. He is still worried that it's possible. Don't worry, he didn't see him. And now look, Nico has everything in the world. This is a perfect round for Falcons, but the only thing that goes wrong here is that Safe is ready for this peak, and he gets the kill onto Nico. Now, this is something that is going to tilt him out of his mind for sure, but it actually isn't that bad because they get the kills onto Secret. Again, this was all a ruse. They had Nico going out here to create chaos so that they could go in lower and win the round just by getting the trades, right? Everything is good. We know that Safe was opping ramp, and we didn't see the guy heaven, but we can only assume that ramp is probably clear. So why don't they just go up into... Okay, Magisk is in T-spawn. Okay, well, that makes sense why they're not accelerating. Magisk, you know, again, he got exploited in that Lin Vision game. He's changed up quite a bit on how he's doing things, playing even more passive than before, but because he's playing more passive, now they have to play passive themselves. They can't speed up on the timing. So instead, they're going to rotate. Everything is good. Magisk is going to re-clear lobby, but they're going A. And you would think that this is actually the perfect call because, well, they have nobody on A. It's just Lukowski. It's just Lukowski. I don't know about you, but I've quite literally never seen somebody struggle to trade the guy back sight this hard. It's the communication for Falcons, and I really do feel like all these tilting rounds in a row are kind of leading to some missteps. I mean, like, at any point in this, let me replay it. At any point in this, surely somebody could have calmed to, oh, hey, like, let's make sure we're together. Look, nobody is together here. m0NESY, first one's fine, but after this, hey, let's group up. Tessus, why you're running at him? Oh, now Magisk is, that's an accident. I'm not gonna lie, Lukowski, it was a great highlight, but you definitely didn't mean to do that right away. He gets both kills, and now Kixon's just sitting here like, well, I don't know what to do. You see, and these are the kind of rounds that if you're a Falcons fan, you're probably getting used to it at this point. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't get any better because they have a 2-10 half, and they go into the pistol, and it actually doesn't look too bad. It should be a winnable one. Nico just has to protect Magisk while he defuses. It's really should be routine for him, but somehow he doesn't kill him in time, and their pistol curse continues. Now, in true Falcons fashion, they actually do bring the first gun round back, and they actually make a pretty compelling case for this comeback. But when you have a really one-sided half like that, you're really not allowed to make mistakes. And in this case, Falcons are only allowed to make 2 mistakes on the team, and the first one It's actually a quick one. If you blink, you might miss it. It's m0NESY jumping up here on top, and these guys are peeking before the smokes. This is a crazy play, super risky, but when you play ahead here, you have such a lead, you can actually make plays like this. And m0NESY makes this mistake, not ready for it. I'm sure Nico was screaming this was happening, but it wasn't in time, and that's going to eventually lead to MIBR winning this first round. Now, I'm going to skip the part where they win the round because I'm looking at this Inferno part of the script, and I have a feeling that it's going to take a really long time, and I don't want to bore you with Nuke, seeing as how they don't win it. But remember what I said, they can only make 2 mistakes, and they have been doing a decent job. They've won 4 rounds in a row, and look, m0NESY even got the opening. Realistically speaking, everything is going well, and Kixin is feeling confident, but all I wonder is why are we making such a confident play here when we know that we're playing from a deficit? We know that we can't make mistakes, and Kixin, he pushes lobby and gives back the man advantage. However, bomb is dropped and they are on B, and their round is not looking very good because this was done with such pace. I get the idea of Kixin wanting to play risky, but if he just would have waited, he probably could have had a nice vent flank later in this round, kind of like how Magisk wanted to do before, because now they're all forced to come from this one side, and if you know anything about Nuke, this is actually almost impossible unless they win the fights right away, but unfortunately, they just can't do it, and there's no time. Molotov dropped on the bomb as well, and that's going to be Nuke wrapped up. But again, Falcons heading into Inferno, surely they can just... yeah, I'm not even going to bother. You know what happened. Welcome to Inferno, or as I like to call it, the worst map I've seen at the majors so far, and we have Falcons on the CT side. They lost the pistol already because of course they did, and they have recovered with a nice 3-1 lead, and they are going to be playing a first gun round here against MIBR. They know that this B hit is coming in. Very standard on Inferno just to be trading in towards a utility, but what isn't so standard is what MIBR is doing. They're actually doing a nice little pop off of I'll leave it in, off of the conditioning of banana control. So normally you throw these mollies on corner and sandbags, and then you just kind of wait it out, throw a CT smoke, bait utility, but on this instance, they're just going to run in right away. This is going to completely catch Nico off guard, and as well as Kixin. Kixin tries to trade, but look at this, he's got a line of T's in front of him, and he will go down. Nico can't do anything, and so they will be forced to save, and that's kind of a theme here. So I don't know about you, but if I have m0NESY and Nico and Testis and Magisk, I want to go for some of these retakes where we're at a deficit, surely, right? These 3v4 retakes, we got to go for a couple of them, or at least give them a try, right? But if you never give them a try, then what's the point of having this kind of a roster? It's not exciting. You're playing the percentages because you're the better team, but when are you ever going to go for the risk because you're the better team? Because you've just conceded 5 rounds in a row to saving, and you never even had a look in. Now, I understand keeping the economy is very important at the highest level, but even this level of saving is pretty egregious, and I think that the only team I've ever seen come close to this is, of course, James Virtus Pro, but that's kind of insane. This is elimination at the major we're talking about. Like, give it a go. Surely we give one of them a go. Now, earlier on Nuke, I said that the Falcons are making every round 10 times harder on themselves than they need to be. Now, here's a round that I also think is too hard. So we're coming off the back of saving 4 rounds in a row, and Kixin wants to go for some aggression. Again, you're the better team. You should be playing your game, not the game that you're being made to play. He drops his nades so that way Nico can use them later as if they still have 3 here, and Kixin will go 1 for 1. Again, all super standard. I love this. Nico's going to pick up Kixin's nades, and everything is good. We're speeding ahead because he's just jiggling. Now, off of him using his final smoke, he has nothing to delay anymore. This is a concept that you guys need to understand. It's cross-map understanding. Nico is in trouble. This smoke is a timer. He has set a 20-second timer, and once this smoke is up, he's dead. So his teammates need to do something in the meantime. They need to get some information. Is there anybody in bracket? Are they in hall setting up a pop? So that's what they're going to do. They're going to walk and they're going to clear mid. And look at this. They found out that there's nobody here and they're going to have the perfect flank. They even have time for Magisk to rotate. Now, Tessis gets the kill. And like I said, everything is going swimmingly. They're in a 3-on-2. This round is over. There's no way for MIBR to win it. There's no way, right? So Magisk comes through. He leaves the CT gap. And of course, because they have no other way to win the round, they just walk CT and they don't even think that this is possible. Tessis thinks that they're just saving top banana, and look at this, but they still think they're here. They have no idea that this is even possible. And look, nobody's here. Nico's like, wait a minute. Oh my God. I see it again. As he's rotating, he's thinking about Boston. He's thinking about Stockholm, the missed eagle shot, and he's like, how are they in A? Now, granted, they do end up winning this round with no real drama. Like, I don't want to scare you. They do win this round, but think about this. They've never had a chance to rest mentally. They're always going, are we losing? Are we winning? Are we losing? Are we winning? Go save the op. They never have a time to just sit there and go, we're the better team. We're in control. And these mental factors play a huge part in a game like this when you have a team like MIBR that's unrelenting and always trying to get you off your game. And they've very clearly done that, and they can tell. Now we're going to travel back in time around so that I can really hit this nail on the head. This is something that we see a lot in demo reviews called conditioning. If you're new to watching these reviews, basically what they're doing is they're trying to make Falcons used to something, whether that's something that they're good at doing or bad at doing, or make them comfortable with not having pressure somewhere so that they can take advantage of it later. Now remember, we already knew that Falcons saved this round, but this is a round where they just go for a Halls pop with one single flash, and it's going to break this crossfire. Magisk gets 2, but they win the round, and we already know that Falcons saves. So something that happens later on round number 10, this is again the round after the round we just watched where they snuck through CT, they're going to go for something exactly the same. But the difference is Falcons is going to hold it. And this really shouldn't be an issue, but Insani is going to whip out this 1v3, and look at m0NESY. He's to the point now where he's like, I'm just going to save. Look at him. He's considering saving in the 1v1. This is m0NESY. Think about this. What you just saw. No, he had the kit. No, he was good. He was thinking about saving. Do you understand the level of confidence that he must have lost being in this situation? We're talking about m0NESY. He's had one of his worst rated performances ever. And in the 1v1, after he watches 2 of his teammates die, he turns around to go save before someone's like, Ilya, go for it. What are you doing? Go kill him. But he doesn't kill him. And instead, what happens is he tries to just go and stick the bomb, and Insani is going to put him out of his misery. But this round will live rent-free in the Falcons' head as another round that's going to tilt them, and it's another round where they go out Halls. Keep that in mind. It's going to be very important for the rest of this game. So clearly, Falcons is tilted out of their mind at this point. They've lost so many unlosable rounds, not only on this map already, but also including that Nuke beatdown that they just had. And here's a round where m0NESY is going to start the op B. Remember, we talked about this with all of the stuff that's been happening A. m0NESY doesn't feel like he can get a lot of impact because he's getting flashed and smoked, so he's just going to start B to catch these aggressive walks. And of course, that will be a nice opening for Falcons, but here's something that happens. They all back up after this, and we have Lukowski come up here, and he's going to put this pressure in towards Arch. He's mollied the Cubby, but you might notice something that's happened for Falcons. They've completely gambled towards the site because they're so used to these Halls pops. I'm not joking. You don't understand. This setup that they're in is quite literally an anti-Halls pop setup. We have Nico, normally a B player, in mini pit, Magisk in pit, and we have somebody here holding Moto. The problem is that this is designed to hold off a Halls pop, but there's no info on Arch. They don't have info on Arch, and because Cubby just got mollied, they know very well that Lukowski could have just taken this gap into Arch, and he could be CT right now, right? So why are they so convinced that this is a Halls pop? Well, because Insani just walked up B. It looks like he's faking. It actually looks like pressure where they're just going to go in, try to get a kill, create chaos, and then they pop A. That's very common, but that's not what's happening. No, they faked that they could be Arch, and now, guess what? m0NESY is going to be hopping from Coffin, but Kixen is forced to address the fact that there was an Arch gap. He is forced to address it, so when m0NESY gets flashed off here, he has one chance to hit a shot. He doesn't. Kixen's blind, and now look at what's happened. Look at what's happened. They're into the site here, and m0NESY is going to get flashed off again. MIBR doing their due diligence, and look, they just get into the site. They are just going to win this round. But this is probably the most egregious part of the round. Safe is going to be opping Banana. It's a 4-on-4. All you have to do here is just trade Safe. He gets the first kill. That's fair. He gets the repeak, and again, think about this. How is it possible that 3 people on Falcons are not trading? Like, the first kill is fair. No trade the second guy, really? The third guy, though? Are you serious? No trades at all. I don't get it. I don't understand. So clearly things aren't going well. And Kixen wants to call something that he knows will work, and what happened earlier was he took Fast Banana, and it actually went pretty well. So he throws this early molly, and then he's going to have Nico peek with him. In the back, we have m0NESY holding some flashes, and Kixen's going to smoke this molly halfway through to mess up the timing for MIBR, and he's going to come through with that nade. If anyone's close, they will take damage, and Kixen will own them. Now he's coming down, hard clearing with m0NESY's flashes. But MIBR learned. The last time Kixen went for this aggressive play, or a similar one, they died to it. But this time they're going to blow the smoke, and they're going to catch him while he's running down. So now they're in some trouble. They're going to come over here, and they're going to start these spam battles, and luckily for them, m0NESY actually will get one back. So it's a 4v4. Off of all this chaos, Lukowski's actually going to walk into the smoke because he wants to try to catch this timing onto Magisk. He knows Magisk has been having a rough time, and they've been trying to, abuse him for this entire half. So he's waiting here for the smoke, and Tessus is actually going to throw a nade to bait like Magisk isn't here. But the problem is that nade is not going to do a very good job because the smoke is fading at the exact same time and Lukowski is going to get the better of him. Now, in the meantime, again, because m0NESY got spotted towards B, the MIBR guys are already taking Arch. Again, this is a concept known as nameplating. We've talked about this many, many times, but m0NESY is the Opera and the Opera normally plays A. So when m0NESY gets a kill and we already killed Kixin, right, we know that they started 3B, which means their Arch is weak. So they're going to accelerate knowing that they're wrapping Tessus, and especially now because they see him, they know that this round should be pretty easy. Tessus goes down. Now, m0NESY and Nico are two players that you sign to your team to win these kinds of rounds. When everything is going wrong, you expect m0NESY and Nico to win these. m0NESY's got the op, and look at that. They're in a 2-on-2. The 2-star players are here to save the day. They're going to stop everything from getting out of control, surely. So Nico is going to be sitting here and well, he actually loses the fight in the reposition. m0NESY misses his op shot, and now they've lost the bomb. Well, it's okay because m0NESY is m0NESY, and he'll go for this 1v2, so he's going to get off of his signature weapon and switch to a FAMAS. I mean, don't get me wrong, I understand. Maybe he doesn't want to have the op, but there's an AK right there. He can see. I mean, they knew he's here. My point is that it just looks like he doesn't have any confidence. Why not just go for the op? If it was simple, he would have went for the op and just go for no scopes. He would hit it too because it's him. But this guy, he knows that there's somebody there. He thinks he's in an unbreakable crossfire and he loses. So your 2-star players, and granted, I know I might be being harsh on them expecting them to win a 2v4, but they should have. After the first 2 kills, they shouldn't lose this, but that's another round that's going to tilt them. So after losing yet another pistol and then the full eco that they take, Kixin calls for a set strat, and this is going to be a delayed B pop. It's really clean. They're just going to flash through here, and they got a CT smoke and all the flashes that they need. And even after they get that opening kill, they still take their time. It's very important that they don't throw these rounds. They need to win every round. Remember, we talked about this on Nuke. You can only make 3 mistakes now, or you are eliminated from the major. So they're going to make sure that they cross their T's and dot their I's. And look at the setup, by the way. MIBR had all 4 players here too, and they still win this round. And that's exactly what you're expecting to see from Falcons. This is a team that should just be able to go into a site when they're stacked and still come out on top. And they do that. And they're going to take it all the way back to tie it up 10-10. Now, you would think that this is where Falcons are finally in the driver's seat and they're going to claim this victory like we all knew that they should. They have MIBR on a half buy, but this is where things become disastrous. m0NESY is going to walk up here and he hits a nice shot onto Insani, and this should just be a B hit. But remember what I just talked about. They want to take their time. They don't want to rush into anything. They know that MIBR are on a low buy. So what MIBR does is they flash clear mid and they don't see anyone. So because they're already on a low buy, they're going to go for a gamble stack towards B. And because the Falcons are taking so long, they actually have plenty of time to get into a good position here. And Lukowski is going to boost up Breno, and he's up here patiently waiting, like I said, and he's going to find 2, drops down, and look at this. They're just creating chaos. All the kills are coming in, and despite Magisk and m0NESY's best efforts, they're still not able to come out on top. And these are the kinds of rounds where you just really can't keep up. And really, the Falcons did nothing wrong, but they just took too long. It's a trap that you can fall into, especially on Inferno, where you know that you're playing against the half buy. These kinds of rounds can happen quite often, and it's really just damned if you do, damned if you don't. So the Falcons are once again on the back foot, but they don't care. They're going to do something that you don't often see, which is they're going to actually decide to nade this smoke right away to try to counter this fast mid play that MIBR is doing. In case you've never seen this, this is a spawn smoke that's often called the phase smoke, which they can use the CTs, that is, to come down mid and fight in towards alt, or just try to get through the smoke and create a little bit of chaos, right? It's, MIBR likes to play chaotically, and this makes sense, but Kixin's going to immediately nade it, and he's going to get a kill, and then it actually is worse than that, because somebody else got a kill. I don't remember who, but m0NESY also got a kill on the op. Now they're just going to accelerate. They know there's only one there. This is the kind of stuff that I want to see Falcons doing. They know that they're winning the round, so they just go win it. They take it from them. They don't let anything get overcomplicated, and they win. Now it's tied 11-11. Now after that, they're going to do a slower default round. They are the better team. I keep saying this because it's true. They just need to rely on their players to hit their shots, and they need to just play with confidence. m0NESY is going to pre-aim this jump spot. I can only assume this is a little bit of anti-stratting going into the way of MIBR. He knows he's going to be doing this if they have banana, and that's right. Insani goes down to an insane shot from m0NESY, and Exit's going to be sitting up here on top of first oranges. Realistically, I wouldn't have expected that either if I was Nico, because this jump spotting in towards top car is normally only something that you do when you're solo, so it was a good bait. He's going to get the first kill, and now again, things are looking really bleak for MIBR. They're going to go down, and again, this is just standard business as usual. Realistically speaking, you shouldn't lose this. m0NESY gets a kill. They're going to throw a Molotov in towards back coffin here, and the only way for them to lose this is if somehow, some way, m0NESY dies or doesn't defend Kixin. And oh dear God, what's happened here? There's a gap in the molly. And no, this isn't a CT molly either. This is a T molly. Kixin had to throw it deep as to not extinguish that coffin smoke that was just here. This is an unforced error though, because if he just would have waited half a second, there was nothing pressing about this plant. He did not need to force this plant now. He could have waited half a second and mollied, but Breno sees the gap and he's going to walk right through. And even though Monacy is holding for this, I don't think he was actually expecting anyone to be there because he thought the molly was good. So not only does Breno get one, he gets two, and Magisk is still lurking in towards mid, and he's not going to be here in time. They just need to get this diffused, and they're going to do a really good job at doing that, and another round gets stolen, but it won't be the first that Breno steals from them. Now with their major life on the line, Kixin calls a timeout, and he calls for the best strat that they have on this map. I guarantee it, because you can't lose this round. They might have even been planning this for maybe in the major final if they needed it, because it's such a good round, but they need it now because they can't lose. So what they do is they take fast banana. Now, instead of going back to pressure bracket at the same timing, they're instead going to throw this smoke right here. And I think that this smoke actually makes the strat. This is a smoke that lands in towards lane. Now, it's not the same smoke that you would normally see, because normally whenever you pressure bracket, you throw this smoke that smokes off arch. That way you can pressure like you're going to be going A, but instead they smoke lane as if they're going arch. Now, the reason why this is so strong is because this is actually going to force people to be ready to defend arch. Instead of cheating a third player towards B and gambling if they're not coming, you actually need that player to hold the arch trap for the A players as well as the B players. So he can't actually go B, which makes this B execute very strong. So here they go. We're going to set it up. They have all the time in the world. It's a perfect strat. And I think this is best watched from Exit's POV. He is blind. We can see a little bit because we're spectators, so they don't want us to just have a white screen, but he is full blind. He thinks he's new box right now. He is not new box. This is a really good strat. The smokes land instantly, the flashes are perfect, and that's exactly the kind of stuff that I'm expecting to see from Falcons. They should have more rounds like this, but you know, they break them out when they need to. They win the round with no dramas, and now we're going to overtime. Welcome to overtime. In this first round, we have a really nice app set up from the MIBR guys. So what's happening here is Safe is going to be opping long haul. And in the meantime, Breno has walked in towards apartments and nobody has spotted this. So after Safe gets the kill, he will be able to bait successfully for Breno. And even though he goes down, it should be a round one. However, there is a little bit of a gamble stack here for MIBR. They're going to gamble 4 players towards A. Now, I'm not really sure why they're doing this. I guess they feel like it's better than having 1B. But the Falcons also take their sweet time to do anything. So by the time they actually do throw the nades, everybody's already here in time to spam these smokes, and it's very uncomfortable for them. You can already see this smoke gets naded, they kill Monacy as well, and actually the spams are just so strong that they decide that they're going to take Kixin too. So there you go. That's the first round of overtime going towards MIBR. Now, in this second round, the Falcons go for a slower default in towards apps, and everything is going according to plan. They actually do this really good flash to blind the Opera, but Safe still hits the shot regardless, so they get a nice clean man advantage, and again, this is really not what you want to see if you're a Falcons fan. But here's the part that I actually have to admire. Kixin sees that they're in trouble, so what he does is he calls for this wrap smoke, which puts a lot of pressure again on the A players, because with that wrap smoke, you can go in towards Arch, or you can walk through it to this Cubbian library, or just split A through it. There's a lot of options, really, and you can see MIBR are worried about this. Again, they're nervous because they are the underdogs, so they're going to make these gambly plays. They rotated completely off, and Kixin knew that this was likely, so that's why they're going back towards B. You can tell that Kixin thinks that there's a weakness B. They're going to molly sandbags as if they're defaulting. They're retaking map control. This is, again, a very common Inferno concept. This is just, oh, standard, we molly corner, molly sandbags, one or the other, but actually, this is an exec. They've mollied sandbags, and now they're just going to run. Kixin's leading it. They're just running in. And look, Insani not expecting that. And I promise you, if he's not expecting that, that's because it's not likely. This is not something that you see a lot of. And not only does Kixin get this kill onto Insani, he pushes through the smoke. He doesn't want to lose. He's trying to lead by example. He's saying, Nico, Monacy, you guys... if I can do it, you can do it. We literally brought you on the team to do this. Please do it. And there you go. He's going to win this round for them. Now, clearly, Falcons have established that they are still the better team. So what they're going to do is they're going to start this round. Monacy has an op, and they're going to throw this smoke in towards top mid where I was just looking. This smoke is called the Fnatic smoke. And what this does is it's supposed to stop the opera from peeking mid so that you can take this control, set up your bracket, take everything is really nice, right? But one thing that's really common is for the opera to actually get boosted over like Safe is doing. So Monacy reads this, and he's going to be pre-aiming this. He's going to get the kill. A very clean opening, and honestly, there's really no drama. They just go on to convert this round, and I don't need to keep talking about it. So they should be feeling confident, right? They just win this round. m0NESY went for a pick, and it actually worked out. For the first time this game, it almost feels like he's actually doing what he wants to do. In return, the next round, MIBR are going to throw the same smoke, and they have a plan. So this Fnatic smoke is really strong, and m0NESY, again, they just threw it. He knows what it is. He mollies behind it. They feel this pressure towards B. He wants to cheat his rotate. He mollies behind it, and he's expecting that the only way for somebody to be in this smoke is if he hears him tick. Breno never ticked. So now m0NESY thinks that nobody's in that smoke, and he's going to walk away. And he's going to run his rotate, and Breno can hear that. He's going to walk in towards Arch, and in the meantime, all that banana pressure is going on, right? So Insani gets a kill onto Kixin. Now Nico's in some serious trouble. He throws his utility, but it's okay. m0NESY's already on the way. But what isn't okay is that in the meantime, Tessus thinks he caught the gap. He thinks that there's nobody there. Remember, m0NESY's Molly, right? But you see, the problem here is that Breno's actually going to be all the way in CT spawn, and he's going to go on this big flank. And it's to the point where Nico is not even thinking that this is remotely possible. He's going to go down, and m0NESY, of course, well, there's not really anything he can do. He was never going to have a chance in this round. But is it his fault? I don't really think so. I think an aggressive play like this is really, really smart from Breno, and it's just kind of something that happens on Inferno. You can't really counter a round like this. It's just going to happen sometimes. Now, after that last round, they are very aware of the possibility of Arch, so much so that they told m0NESY to sit here until 26 seconds. Now, I skipped through the boring default, so don't worry how we got here. It's a 5v5, nothing has happened, and they're going to go for this A hit. m0NESY is going to be waiting, and somehow he misses the shot. Now, in these kinds of rounds, the only way for them to now win after losing that first shot is if Magisk and Tessus put on an insane display. So they're feeling all the pressure in the world. Magisk sees him, knows that he needs to live. This is very important, and you can learn this too. Your life is worth so much. I mean, in real life, but also in game. Look at this, 20 seconds. The longer that he lives, the more important, the more valuable. It's 14-14. He throws this flash, not for anyone to peek with, no. It's to delay the other team and confuse them. m0NESY has somehow gotten into sight in time to get the kill, and Tessus is going to get a kill as well onto the person jumping out of apps. Now Magisk knows, again, he needs to take the fight, because if he doesn't, m0NESY will get overwhelmed, so he peeks, and he gets the kill. Now m0NESY, he knows that he missed on this guy earlier, so he turns around knowing that it's the right time, hits the quickscope, and Magisk will get the last kill. It's a perfect A-hold. It's exactly what you would need to inspire confidence, close this game out. We won. So MIBR not scared at all, and Insani's going to come up here, and he's going to go for some fast banana control. Now Kixin. Remember, all the pressure on the line. We already saw this once on Nuke, and we've already seen it a few times this game. He will take the game into his own hands and go for an aggressive play. Remember, he went through the CT smoke, and he got that entry kill early, and then on Nuke, he walked into the hut and threw the game. Well, here's another instance of Kixin going for something he doesn't need to do. He throws a flash for himself, and he dies. You know what? It's actually not that bad. It could have been worse, right? I mean, at least the guy was blind. Insani just got a little bit lucky, but what's the point? We can just take our time. But of course, MIBR, no, we got the entry. Now we just need to go. Insani is running in, and Nico, he can't do anything. There's nothing he can do. It's over. And now we're going to a second overtime. You see, this is the problem. When you're in a situation like this, it's good to play confidently, but there's a fine line between confidence and stupidity, so I've been told, and I am on the very stupid side. And so I could be wrong when I say this, but I feel like this is a needless risk that Kixin is taking. However, it's okay. We go on to the first round of overtime, and we get some fast banana control, and Nico's going to immediately shut them down. I mean, this is more like what we expect, but again, this is what I'm saying. How is it that sometimes Falcons look like this is what Falcons should look like? It should just be a brick wall defense. They try to go for the B rush, it doesn't work. Nico just shuts them down with the 3K. Actually, it's a 4K because he gets his last kill. But like, why doesn't that happen in every round? Why does the mental shift so much from round to round? I can't wrap my head around it. Round 32. We have another round of banana control. It's just more of the same. Nico wants to get some confidence back. He's going to come up here, but unfortunately he is going to get into a spam battle that he just can't win. Now after that, they want to end halls. Remember, they've been conditioning this all game long. They want to be ending halls. They want to make them uncomfortable. But because of that conditioning, the Falcons are actually in a setup that can deal with this pretty well. So they need to make sure that they're careful. The pathing is good. Lukowski jumps out to lane, but it's actually kind of messy. They do end up getting the kills though, and despite Magis's best efforts on the spray transfer, they will still lose the round. And then we're going to move into round 33, which is probably my favorite round, the MIBR call here, which is going to be fast bracket control. Now this is of course very standard. They're just going to put a lot of pressure at the beginning of the round early in towards bracket, and then they're going to pause and make no noise. Now the idea here is that in standard Inferno theory, the CTs, once they lose top car or top bracket, they will reaggress this later in the round, right? Now you see the pressure continues a little bit. We threw this wrap smoke as well, threatening yet again that we could go into CT, so somebody is forced to address it. They're just waiting for someone to push them. But nobody ever does. And because nobody ever does, they recognize that there's probably a weakness in towards Arch. Remember, the reason that is, are you ready for this? Is because if Monacy was here, there's a pretty much 100% chance Monacy would have walked up to re-clear bracket from either side. It's like Opera 101 on Inferno. Everybody knows this. So because Monacy's already started B a few times, they think, well, you know what? Maybe he started B again. So to see this out, they're going to smoke Arch and they're going to have Lukowski walk through it. Now he's looking for the Opera, but he's not going to see him. But instead, he's going to find Nico all the way in Speedway. So I'm going to explain to you what this means. It's Nico. So either Monacy never moved on A and they have no info, which no tier 1 team would do, or there's only 2 people on A, and they're playing in a setup to counter the Hulse pop, which is exactly what they're doing. And so, because of that, they're going to immediately run out, and again, there's nothing you can do. Magisk is all alone, he's dealt with, and the round is over. And it's just, there's nothing you can do. This is just great CS being played by MIBR. I love everything about it. Now, don't worry, this game it's almost halfway done. This game starts to get a little bit ridiculous. So here is another round. Falcons are on the T side yet again. They're going to pressure Banana before deciding to ultimately come back in towards A, and they call for another perfect round. I think this must be deep in the strat book. They've probably practiced this a million times. It's just a standard R trap with the smokes. They get in here, and look at how silly they make MIBR look. They make him look so silly. Burno dies without looking, and Safe dies. Look at that. And look at that. You even have MIBR having to save in overtime. This is what I'm expecting to see from Falcons. So in the next round, we have a nice banana play here from Falcons, and Insani is going to get flashback in, but he ate that nade beforehand. It was really good from Falcons to throw that. They know the timings of the re-aggressions. Everything is perfect, right? Falcons looking solid. Now Breno knows that they need to re-clear something. You see his teammates getting ready to re-clear mid. We already talked about that, but Breno actually goes for a micro re-aggression here, and he's trying to find the lurker. And he finds him. Now remember, I told you it's a fine line between stupidity and confidence, and this is one of those where I'm not really sure what the line is. Remember, if he confidently walks through this smoke and he clears all of alt mid, he knows that they're B, and you could be on a really good flank. You have them trapped and you win the round. But if Tessus is holding for you, well, then you lose. You lose because now your teammates are all on B thinking that they have to be there, and then they're A, and you're saving, and the round is over. And now you are the team that is losing. It was Falcons this entire game, and Falcons is actually going to make it hurt. Look at how they start this round off. We have that banana control coming in for exit. The spam gets punished. Nico with the kill. This is the perfect way to start this round. The only possible way for them to lose now is if something terrible happens for Falcons. It's actually, I want to say it's genuinely unlosable. And Sani gets pushed back, but look, Falcons, they know what's going on. They saw him just jump spotting. Monacy calls it, and last time when he was jump spotting, he killed him. And he knows that that's most likely a solo play. They go right in for the B exec. They waste no time. And Sani, he's trapped out of the round. It's over. The game is over, and Sani's spamming and just hoping he gets a kill, but instead he gets killed. He's trying his best to just delay for his teammates as long as he can, but he goes down. Falcons have done it. They called a perfect T round. 2 of them in a row, actually 3 of them. This is a perfect call. And now all they have to do is make sure to convert the post plant. Monacy's posted banana. They have a triple setup on dark, and Tessus is holding the coffin smoke. It's literally unlosable. But Falcons find a way to do the impossible. Tessus goes to hold banana. Everything was fine with Monacy holding it, but it's okay. Monacy switches to hold coffin. Now Tessus is on this nice off angle, and he decides he's going to clear it. And he spots Breno with his nades out. it's still unlosable, right? It's still unlosable. He goes for the fight. Now he's good. He's going to hide in towards half wall. He just needs to tell m0NESY, hey, this guy could peek you. And m0NESY is very aware. Look, the comms are good. He's hidden from it as well. So Testis decides he's going to peek him. Okay. Well, Breno's going to take care of him. Next up, m0NESY, instead of hiding sandbags and playing time, decides that he's going to peek Breno as well, trying to trade. He misses. Well, that's not good, is it? So now Breno is going to punish m0NESY for missing. Now Safe is going to walk up here, post it with the op, and he finds Kixin. But Kixin's in trouble. Why is Kixin peeking? Because his banana players just died, and Breno is 2 seconds away from peeking him in pit. So he has to peek CT. Well, he gets punished. Now Nico, who has watched so many majors in front of his eyes fall, trophies lifted by the other team, he decides, we can still win this, Magisk. Hide behind me. I'll bait for ya. So he's going to peek here. Sees Breno. Deleted. Now Magisk is in a 1v3 in the instance, in like probably 5 seconds this all happened. I slowed it down for you. What happened? This round was literally unlosable. But Breno steals it from him. I told you earlier he would steal another round from him, and I meant it. Oh, he stole it. Watch this. If I go back just a few seconds, watch this from his perspective. Just watch this nice sequence. One peek. m0NESY miss. Another kill. Teammate kills the guy in pit. Now he's just running up. He deletes Nico. Oh my god. And then he kills Magisk as well. I could stop the review there. And maybe I even should. But let's keep talking about what happens after this. Like I said, they haven't made any of these rounds easy on themselves. And Kixin, God help him, he's the one that has to call for Nico in this game. But he calls for an aggressive B play, and he's leading the way again. He gets the kill, and look at this. They're in a really good position. We have Magisk lurking up Arch. You know what? It's still okay, though, because at the end of the day, the B hit comes in, regardless of MIBR having the read that it's happening, and they are still going to win it because m0NESY is a hero, and he will bail them out one more time this game. Look at that. Beautiful round from them. Great. Next round. We have another just clean start here. m0NESY's holding for the app's aggression, spamming with the op. Again, nothing can go wrong. They just want to take their time. They're still the better team, even if their mental is absolutely shattered. So what do we have? We have the hard B exec. This is something that Kixin has been calling all game long. Hard B exec comes in. There's two people to receive the hit. It's Exit and Insani. Exit, full blind. Insani, full blind. Catches the dink while he's blind, gets a kill. Oh my god. Now Exit kills the guy that Insani just dinked. It doesn't get any better. Now Exit realizes he's in trouble, goes for one more. Okay, cool. Now Insani's in some serious trouble, so he goes, dinks him. And then after that, he just needs to wait. His teammate kills his the other guy. I don't even have any words for what I just saw. So the tilt must be unreal, because quite frankly, this game, first of all, shouldn't have even been this close given that it's Falcons playing. But second of all, they won the game. It was 5v3 in an unlosable round, and yet they're still playing. So the tilt must be off the charts. It actually, I don't even want to know what the comms sounded like. They were probably okay, but the post-game talk has to be miserable. I would actually kill to see that in the documentary. But here's another round. Okay, we have bracket control, right? And m0NESY, he's going to be holding lane. Okay, everything is good. Everything is going according to plan. He's holding lane. And look, he's actually in an op duel here with Safe. Everybody's holding. It's going to be at the set A finish. Look, they have a moto smoke from Nico. They're just going to barrel up lane. And m0NESY just needs to wait. Now, normally, I know what you're thinking. Normally, in these kinds of rounds, somebody is going to be holding m0NESY's left here. But because this is a set strat and they're all throwing smokes, nobody's holding left. And because MIBR gambled for here, they need to get info because Exit, he set that timer. Remember, I told you about that earlier in the game. He set the timer. Once the smoke is gone, he's dead in his mind, right? Because they could be banana. So they need to get this info now. Very unlucky for Falcons because m0NESY, well, nobody's holding for m0NESY, and it's a disaster. So the set strat's out the window. They're all dead. Okay, so yeah. Now this is most likely the round that actually loses Falcons the game. When I was watching this on my stream, I genuinely couldn't understand what was happening. I didn't get it because everything happened instantly. Now, I've watched this round back 5 times now, and I think I actually have the best way of explaining it. So we have a Halls set up here, and m0NESY and Magisk are going to be together. Now, Breno is going to come up here with this flash, and he's going to peek with it. m0NESY misses, Magisk gets the kill. Okay, man advantage. Now MIBR are going to go for some banana control, and Kixin's going to get flashed back in. It's a 5v3. Both plays on both sides of the map worked. Now, because of that banana pressure, Magisk, who was just in Halls, is rotating to B as the pit player. Not normal. I'm just going to let you know, the pit player is normally an anchor. He never leaves here. I don't know why Magisk is the one rotating. Tessus was also in library with him, but then he decided to stay back. Now he's holding for the arch gap. m0NESY now responsible for holding Halls. Gets timing because Lukowski, he has to take a timing here. He has to. It's a 3v5. He just goes for it. He walks up. m0NESY misses and he gets the kill. Okay, so that is going to make Magisk go back. Now, Magisk was actually just holding the edge of this smoke. So Safe is going to walk through this smoke where Magisk was just holding. And he's going to be able to creep around here with the op. And he gets the kill onto Nico. And I just want you to think about this before I finish this dissection. How do you calm all of this as it's happening for the Falcons? I don't actually know. You just shouldn't be in this position. Magisk should have never rotated. It should have been Tessus, and he should have just stayed, because then he would have been able to hold, and m0NESY would have never been timinged. But no. Now Lukowski, looking for Magisk, doesn't see him, is in a duel with Tessus. Flashes, he just needs to get one kill. Look at this. He spots him. He gets the kill. So, they think it's A. It should be A. So, Kixin is like, well, it must be A now, so I'm going to... Wait a minute, but why is he still here? That's what he's thinking. Why is Safe still here? He just killed Nico. That's the upper. You never heard him run away. You heard exit run away. You heard exit, exit. You get it? But now Safe is still holding, and he jumps right into his arms. He jumps right in. And now they're going to go B because the pit player is still alive. Now, he doesn't win it. He tries. He gives it his best attempt, but no, it's over. It's over. It's over, and it's not looking good. That round, that's the round that lost in the game, in my opinion, because that has to be an unfathomable level of tilt to deal with. As a team, what do you even say? First, you have a crazy rotate that makes no sense. And you're in a 5v3. Then there's a gap. m0NESY misses. Probably slammed his desk, goes, one lane bliat. Then, after that, Safe walks to the smoke and ops Nico. And then he's probably like, bro, what are we doing? And then, bro, I love this game. Now, if you've been paying close attention, you'll remember I told you a while ago to pay attention to the Hall's conditioning. And I wasn't telling you that for no reason, because here we go. Round 41 in the game. All the way back in round 7 or whatever, they were doing these Halls pops. Now, Breno is going to lead the way. We have a set strat out of spawn. What we see is, we see this Fnatic smoke. I'm gonna break it down for you. This smoke right here that they've been throwing all the game and doing different strats with, now they're throwing it so that way Exit can walk up and flash his teammates out of Halls. Okay? He's close. There's nothing that they can do about this Falcons. They just need to hit the shots. Magisk is in a good spot to deal with this, but unfortunately that flash is still going to miss. It is going to miss, right? It's going to miss. They get the trade though. It's all on m0NESY. m0NESY is in trouble. He hits the first shot, and somehow, by some miracle, he hits a second. And they win this round. They win this round. But you know what I admire so much about MIBR? Is that MIBR knew that they had everything in the world. They had all of the momentum. They knew that Falcons was nervous. So they ran the same strat. Again. The same one. Same roles. But the only difference is that there is no mid-smoke this time. That's the only difference. You know why that makes such a difference? Because m0NESY now is comfortable looking Halls, and they know that Magisk has been weak. They know he's only getting one. That's not enough. If you're going to be the pit anchor, you need to be getting 2 consistently. And the worst part about all of this is because they've been doing so much towards A, they started 3B this round because they thought that MIBR would go for another fast B play like they did a few overtimes ago. But not this time. And this time I'll let you watch the disaster unfold. But I just want to say, if you guys enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Let me know who you want me to cover next. And enjoy the last round of Falcons at the Austin Major. Wow. It's just beautiful, isn't it? All of these rounds playing off of each other. Every round weighing in the mind of every player. They'll never forget this game, that's for sure. And one thing they also won't forget is every time they died had an impact on how they played the rest of this game. The amount of things you have to keep track of, it's insane. You have to keep track of everything. There's nothing you can do. The game ends with Kixon getting spammed through the smoke. Absolute cinema.